It's on the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Talawa TV is in the town. Whoa, I'm getting ready. Got a corner on the telephone. Yeah, this is the Ocean of the Messenger, and you're watching Talawa TV with the host and best Davis. Take it away.
Hello, I'm Hansi Parchment. You're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.
My followers, good evening, good afternoon, possibly a good morning, all depends on where you're based in the world. Yes, this is a earlier than usual live stream. My live streams are usually taking place about 12 a.m. UK time, just to cater to you guys, my demographics, my main target audience, as you guys are fully aware, is based in Jamaica and in the States. So I have to work with your times at all times. The headline for this one reads for itself, doesn't it? If you don't want to read the headline, I'll go ahead and do exactly that. It says Rohan and the Morgan dynasty. You're probably wondering, what is that all about? I'm pretty sure by now, if you're familiar with my channel, then you should most certainly be familiar with the name, that is the Morgan family. Quite a few of you have been asking me about the Morgans. What can you tell me? How are they? What are they like? I said on my live stream yesterday that if I spoke about the Morgans, I will not be doing them no justice at all. So instead, I went and I got the engineer. I went and got the creator, the man who created it all from humble beginnings there in Jamaica all the way to the UK, where his family, in my opinion, or no doubt, arguably one of football's most successful black family. I've only got 1 hour of his time, guys. So here's what we're going to do. 45 minutes, I'm going to be speaking directly to the man himself, Mr. Rohan Morgan. Later on in the show, you guys can go ahead and ask your questions. Maybe for the last 15 minutes or so. You know the rules. Do try to make it polite and respectful. If you go against those guidelines, I'm going to have to just simply ignore you. And I'm sure you guys in the comment section don't want me to do that. So the big man himself has been patiently waiting in the background. And my spidey sense is telling me that he's shown up in some Jamaican colors. I could be wrong, but let's see if he's actually gone ahead and do that. I'm about to bring him out on screen. It is the lovely Mr. Rohan Morgan. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you. I'm fine.
Is that the Jamaican colors that I'm looking at?
Well, yes, about this, I think the Reggae Boys play in Leicester a few years ago.
Okay.
And they played Ghana, if I remember rightly.
Yes.
And I watched the game and bought this. I've got a few anyway, so this is one of many.
I love that. One of many. Wow. Okay. Please do not invite me nowhere near your property, because if anything goes missing, I'm not going to be the one to take the blame, even if I did take it. I can see clearly from the jump that you're clearly a family man just by looking at that photo frame there in the background. Looks as if that is possibly Jonathan, Jade, Holly, and there's two unrecognizable individuals there.
Right.
Nonetheless,
That's
you seem like
Shirley,
a
my
family man.
wife, and that's my grandson. And that's Holly, then me, then Jonathan, then below Jonathan, it's Jade. Shirley and Marcus. Marcus Emmanuel Morgan. He is my grandson, my only grandchild.
Wow.
And that's it, really. That's my life story here. I've been children and dug down in this place because of the family.
Yes, yes, yes. Like I said, I know you've agreed to bless me with 1 hour of your time, so I won't waste any of your precious time, and I'm just going to have to dive right in. Guys, in the comment section, I'm not ignoring you. I will turn my attention to the comment section as we go on with the show, but I just want to get things started because time is quite precious when you're dealing with the Morgans. If you cast your eyes on the screen, you should be able to read the headline, the banner. It says Rohan and the Morgan dynasty. So I want to know how this fruitful, this ever-growing dynasty started. And I think it's only right for us to strip it all back and ask you to tell us all about your birthplace.
Well, yes, I'm a real Jamaican. I live in various parts of Jamaica, and I was born in Greenwich Town, 6th Street, 46th Street, just below the Majestic Theatre. Spanish Town Road run across, and Rosedale is over the next side. But I did not live there for long. That's my birthplace. But as you know, in Jamaica, at the time, mothers have children, and I was second child for my mom. But I moved to the country when I was 3 years old to live with my grandparents in a place called Catadupa, the place that I treasure very much. It's around 22 miles out of Montego Bay. It's a beautiful part of the country. It's near the cockpit country, up in the hills, the mountain of Catadupa. And I grew up there, went to prep school, went to primary school there, and have the most glorious time of my life in Catadupa. You know, it's a place like no other. And I remember at the time when I was maybe 6, 7, 8, all the singers, the reggae singers, used to come down there to rejuvenate their soul. Even Bob Marley came down there quite a few times just to chill out, have some spring water, and enjoy life, you know. So that's the place of my birth. I was there until my mom got herself together and decided that it was time for me to move back to Kingston. So I lived there with my grandparents until my grandparents died. So of course I have nowhere else to go but to go back to live with my mom. And that was good because it was time for me to move on. Yeah. And the memory I took from Catadupa, the railway station, the railway line, the trains, the health of the place, the beauty of the place. You know what I mean? Everyone lived forever there. You know, no one seemed to die. You know what I mean? Because it's hilly. You know what I mean? And it's the birthplace of Sam Sharp, one of our great national hero, came from there. You know what I mean? He that's where he plotted his rebellion, and that's where he fought with the Maroons. Right there where I was brought up in my early days, a place called Catadupa. Yeah, great place. I moved to Kingston, and I lived in several places in Kingston. I moved to Rosestone, just below Trenchtown. You know what I mean? I lived in a place called James Street for a few years. Then I lived off Maxwell Avenue, Nelson Street, Medcalf Street. You know, in them days, you know what I mean, your parents rent a couple of rooms and you got to move when the time was up for you to move on, you know what I mean, and so forth. So we would move around a bit just to make things happen, you know what I mean, and so forth. So I know what it's like. I know Jamaica very well, you know what I mean. I've been shopping on Maxwell Avenue to buy Big Jilla Isle for my mom, you know what I mean, and so forth. So no one gonna tell me about Jamaica. You know what I mean? Kingston, all the way, visit Coronation Market many Saturday mornings with my mom, you know, to pick up those oranges and mangoes and so forth. Until things changed, my mom moved to a place called Duhaney Park. Duhaney Park was just built up in a brand new estate, you know. And that's another adventure. We moved to Duhaney Park, and that was great, you know what I mean? Because it was a young community, a young neighborhood, and it is another great time. It was there I saw football. Whilst in the younger days, it was cricket, you know what I mean? And I didn't play football. I didn't play football until maybe 12, 13. The first time I kicked a ball was around 12 when I moved up to Kingston after I finished my common entrance. And I was so taken by the game, you know what I mean? Of course, I couldn't play because I was a country boy, you know, but I understood the game immediately. You know what I mean? I understood everything and so forth. And then I moved to live with my aunt. I can't fill in all the gaps because it takes forever. In Meadowbrook, yeah? And it was in Meadowbrook that I got involved in football because people in Meadowbrook, the Medieval was formed just the time I went there, 75, 76, where the whole thing started, you know. And Wagga David Hunt was the main man. He was the instrument, you know. He was the community leader, you know. We used to go youth club before Medieval started. We got youth club every Friday evening, you know what I mean? And that led to organized activities, netball, table tennis, and of course football was always there. And Wagga and his people decided to set up Medhaven. And I want a piece of that, because, and I saw it. I saw the whole thing. I saw the whole community vibes. I saw how people started galvanized, for a football team. In them time, you have Boys Town, Santos, those were the main thing, Cavalier, and so forth. And we started Medhaven. I'm not going to sit here and say I came back there a couple of years below. It was started by some young men. Like Mike Ballin was one of the first young boys to be in Medhaven. Michael Deitch, Wayne Hunt, and Cap, I can't remember his name, but and it started from there. And we're gonna look at them. A guy called Norman Harvey, he died now. He was running those boys. He took them every Saturday morning. But where the train was just over the road from where I live, on Springburn Avenue. So I used to go and watch them. Of course, they were good footballers and I couldn't play. But I watched them with intent. I used to spend a good hour every Saturday morning between 10 to 12, a couple of hours, and watch them train and so forth. I wanted to play, but I know I didn't have the necessary skill and technical ability to play, but I knew the game. I could tell the game. And Medhaven started, I think, in 77. I remember the first game, the 1-2-1, if I'm right, where Wagga was playing at the time, and the various other people. I don't remember all the names. But it was a glorious day. I remember Medhaven until like it was yesterday, the first game. And I got involved, I was more like a worker, I got to be a part of this, and I got involved. So my good friend, Dingle, Milton Wills, he was a captain, he played all manning and so forth, and Michael Deitch and so forth was there. And what happened, Crystal, everything was going fine. I was helping to do things and so forth, but Wagga went to India to do his master's. He spent 2 years, and he went to India to do his master's. And things started to fall apart, because the people who were left in charge, they were short of resources, they were short of organization, and they were short of just the will, and so forth. And people were, by that time, was chipping off to America. Some people were going to America to live, and you know the rat race in Jamaica. You always want to go to foreign and so forth. And where we live up in Meadowbrook and Heavendale, people could be able to do that. So there was this transient, people come and go and so forth. But myself and Mikey Joyce decided to hold it together, And I remember for the next 2 to 3 years, we took over the youth team. And of course, I was very much involved in the senior team. I remember going to work. By this time, I'm 18, 17, 18. And I remember I got a job at Seprod. No, Seprod is just below Tivoli Garden town. They make oil and soap. Very, very wealthy company. The pay was good. And I got a job there in the soap factory. Good days again, And I had good money in my pocket. Seprod was paying good money. I have nothing to do with money and stuff like that. So all of my money over that 2-year period went into the football. I was one of the first ones to have a little VW car, And I used to pick up boys, as soon as they finished school, pick them up training, take them out to matches. I used to give so many excuses at Seprod. Where am I going now? Big time off work to go. It was all about football. It was all about, when you have responsibility, you can't run from it. It's a busy person. If you want something to get done, you're also a busy person. And I used to work 3 shifts at Seprod. Hard time. But I always find time. And even when I didn't have time to go to work, I used to pay someone to do my shift that I could get to pick up those kids. I remember Johnny Pecker, Cornel Spence, all them boys, and the Goblet Twins and so forth. And most of those lads, you see that picture you showed just now. Pick them up, no money, we do fundraising, raffle, pick up bottle and sell. We got various, we do everything possible to get money to help. And it paid off. I think in 84, I think 84, we won, maybe even won the minor league. Very important. I was there, I was there at Dennis and Geddes ground, and it was a glorious time. I think that's the first piece of, yeah, that's a picture. I'm to the left there, Wagga just come back then, and he took away the team there. But I was like the operation manager. That's what I had. With Mikey Dyche was the coach. I make things happen. I find money where I can find money from. I organize transport. I organize fundraising to get money for the kids that they can have. And I pick up boys from the home, take them back home, pick them up from the home, take them to matches all over Kingston and so forth. And at that time also, I got involved in Medieval because I wasn't there, and Medieval was going through a difficult time. I was marking those pictures with paintbrush and whitewash, marking all those lines with a paintbrush. I mean, I'm sure most people of that time who was in football would know exactly what I'm talking about. You want to try and mark a pitch with paintbrush, it takes forever. But I used to go down there on a Sunday morning, yeah, alone, yeah, and mark that pitch, yeah, for the game. Go play a game on Sundays or Saturday. And I enjoyed doing it, and I was doing it because Dyche was doing other things and so forth. And we pulled through. We win some good games. I remember after marking the pitch, what I do next, I go up into the hills where we watch a game from, that panoramic view, and be a spectator. Do the work in the morning. I might wonder where I find all the time. I find the time because I was driven, I love football. After watching the 78 World Cup, I remember, with Kempes and that Brazil with Socrates and stuff. When I watched the World Cup, I was smitten for good, because football was in my blood and so forth, and I wanted it to do well. So I'm in England now, and I tell you what, people ask me many times, who's your team? And people say Liverpool, Man United. I say, Medieval, I can't have another team but Medieval. I don't care what happened. I can't feel. I see my colleagues here, where I live in Leicester here, they live and die for Leicester, live and die for other team. I say, you know what, I can't feel that. I felt that feeling already in Jamaica, in the hills overlooking our ground, the bottom field, you know what I mean? And so forth. But it come a time when you have done enough, we had done enough. And I came to England in 85, Christmas 85. I came here to university, and in fairness, I did follow some woman over here also. I followed the love of my life then, and she was, we met, and her grandparents have moved back to Jamaica and lived down the road from where I live, Springburn. They used to live at Highland Drive. And we met, and over a 2-3 year period, she come to England, come back. And I said, this time I'm going to make a move. I just want to know where to go, whether to go to America or England. And because Shirley, my wife now, you see her behind, I said I'm going to take one stone, kill two birds, yeah? I come and see who she is, hear about these English women, you don't know who they are, and come and suss her out a bit. And while I was doing that, I went to university here. And after, 36 years of marriage, 35 years of marriage, we have 3 children, and I've been to university, I've got myself a couple of degrees, and got involved with various fundraising. When I came here first, it wasn't football. When I came here first, and at university, I couldn't work because I was going through immigration and stuff. And I went to the volunteer agency and said, I wanted to do some volunteer work with African Caribbean people, black people. And they sent me to the credit union. No, this credit union was running Leicester by 4 black men, Jamaican men. And they mesmerized me with their steadfastness and how disciplined they were. And of course, I know the credit union movement in Jamaica because I was a member of Church's Credit Union at Crossroad, just over the road from Regal Theatre, cinema. So I got volunteering with the credit union. And today I'm now the vice president of the credit union right now. You know what I mean? When I was there, they had something like 200 members. We have nearly 1,000 members now, and over £4 million worth of money we can lend out every year. And that's all done volunteer. But from that was enough. You know what I mean? I wanted to get back into football. And the football was by default, to a certain extent, because I decided I wanted to coach. You know what I mean? Because in Jamaica, I didn't get the opportunity to coach because I wasn't in the in Jamaica, I wasn't in the higher echelon. You know what I mean? I wasn't in the of coaching. Nobody didn't let me coach or anything like that. I was more the worker, the doer, the operation man. And the opportunity was not there for me to get involved. You know what I mean? Dyche was doing the coaching, I was doing the heavy lifting. I enjoyed that because you got to know where your strength is. But I knew the game. And when it came here, I decided I want to get the badges. And boom, 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 I got all my badges. You know what I mean? Right up. And it was done by some very good coaches and tutor here. And I started to coach the men's league here. I'm doing well, won a few cups and so forth. But it was enough. It was enough because it wasn't high enough for me. And I didn't have any control over it. And I came back to Jamaica, I think 2000. My mom passed, and I came back out. And that year I came to Jamaica 3 times. But Holly, my youngest, was picked for the Center of Excellence here, you know what I mean, at the highest level of football, where all the gifted people, all girls go to play and train, and she was picked out. Now, I came back to this country, and I was to take her to the trial the following morning. But of course, I couldn't because I was sleeping. I couldn't even jet lag. And it was my wife, and Holly came and tapped me on my forehead. I said, Dad, the trial is now. And I said, ask your mom. So I didn't take her. His mom said, I come in the afternoon. So the trial was for a week, and she went, and I went and watched her, and it was fortunate that I picked her, you know what I mean? And my story started there. I went to take her to games and watch her play all over the country. Jonathan was playing already. He was playing, you know what I mean, also, but Holly was the one that I kept with. And would you believe the club comes in, it was just Leicester, and asked me to join the board. You know what I mean? I said, you know what I mean? I'm joining the board because they realize there's somebody just said, join the board, you know what I mean? And because they're struggling. And I seem like are really interested in the game. So of course I joined the board, and before you know it, my job was to find a new pitch. I joined as a development person, but this was majority of the time, finding land and build houses. That's what I was doing. And I did that. I went in and I bid to the Football Foundation and FA here. We got £3 million to build up a new facilities and so forth. And I work up to the vice chair, but I still wasn't in the thinking, you know what I mean, and so forth, because the club at the time was run by the men's club, but it was run as a community initiative. It's a side thing. Anyway, when we got the new facilities and so forth, the people who was running the club, something went wrong, tremendously wrong, and they were put on garden leave, and I was the vice chair. I didn't have any signature on any check. I think there was quite a bit of money went missing and so forth. And they called me in, the FA called me in to take over. You know what I mean? Because I was doing so much work, I was funding it, you know what I mean, and I was fundraising for the club and so forth. And they gave me go and become a chair and run forming committee, and I think at the time there were £37,000 in arrears, and I said, oh my God, where am I going to find this money? But the opportunity was too good, you know, and I took it on, the whole club. I took it on. The board resigned because everybody afraid that the bank come and take the house. Because the first thing I did was to get the club legally binding with the FA and stuff and so forth. And from there, everyone leave. We got relegated. The first team got relegated that year because all the good players went. Who is Rohan? Who is he? And I think everyone expect the club to fail. Everyone expect the centre of excellence to crash. You know what I mean? And everyone expect that. Of course, there's more to this, Christian, but everyone expected to fail. And I say, you know what? Nope, because I was getting the same feeling I got at Medhaven. Something was in the water again. You know what I mean? I really want to make a go at this and so forth. I tell you this now, all the local clubs around didn't like it, you know. They couldn't do anything, but they didn't like me take over and so. And I had a torrid time with all sorts of people. You know what I mean? I had a torrid time. The family got a torrid time just to survive, you know. And because we were successful and I was there being a manager, the water boy, everything, you know what I mean, and so forth. And we got relegated. We got relegated. It was my first management job. And I got relegated because all the good players left and so forth. And we decided to rebuild the club from scratch. You know, we decided to rebrand it. We decided to change the whole outlook. We decided to start from scratch, from bringing in a young. We have around 7 or 8 teams from under 8 all the way to under 16. We have the main team and we have the reserve. And we started to make some money, you know, we fundraise. In the summer, we don't do anything but fundraising in the summer. And because then my family see I was having a nervous breakdown. Not literally, but they said I was doing too much. And Jonathan, you know what I mean, it was by default. He was getting ready to go to university and stuff. He was playing his own game and so forth. And he came, and when he was doing his A level, he started his coaching education as part of his A level course in sport management. And he came and he said to me that I will come in and help you help you out. And me and Holly was always there. Holly and I was always there. He came in as the assistant reserve manager. Yeah. So John, you gotta get the badges and so forth. And he went and he got his badges and he became the reserve manager. And then he became joint manager. You know what I mean? Everything was done orderly and properly. And I have to make sure he could do the job. I have to make sure he have the know-how, he have the ability, he have the mind's eye, you know, he could see the game and so forth. But I might not be able to play the game as I would like, but I know the game inside out. I believe that. And he took the team over and he started to climb up the league. You know, 1 year in the 4th division, he won all his game, all 22. This is the FA competition. He won all his game and moved us into the 3rd tier, and we just never stop. You know what I mean? And with the new place completed and stuff, now we have a home ground, yeah, and we have everything. So we just continue to work and work and work and work. You know what I mean? I never think anything of it. Just back to Jamaica, I never think anything of it. I just want to win. I just want to make sure the next day. And I didn't know how much work we're doing. You know what I mean? I won all sorts of awards, you know what I mean? Volunteer of the Year award and all sorts of awards from the FA. But it didn't matter to me. It's just about winning and to progress and the progress and the progress. And we wouldn't stop there, Crystal. We decided that now we're in this Division 3 for too long. But to get into Division 2, which is a championship, you don't just get in there. You have to apply to get in there. You have to show. The due diligence is very strict. You've got to show you have facility. You've got to show you have business plan. You've got to show that you're legal. You've got to show you have money in the bank. You've got to show all sort of things. And we waited until we applied the first year. And I got through the first round. And then when I look at the second round and we did our risk assessment or financial risk assessment, I said to Jonathan, because me, Jonathan, and Holly did the application, I said that we can't go back into the second round. We can't manage. We could fund it the first year, but we can't. We have no money for the second year. We just could not. So we decided to pull out, because we weren't going to be stupid. We were going to go for 1 year and so forth. And we went back to the joint board and go back and we replenish our finances. We developed some strategy. We brought in the academy now. Now the academy was around 180 young girls, and they was paying £350 each, to play. And we brought in coaches and so forth. At first, they were all volunteers. Then we started paying expense and so forth. And then we decided to go back and apply for the championship. And this time, after the Jonathan and Jade and the committee by then, we can't do it alone. The FA wouldn't give us the championship license if we didn't have a men's club behind us. Please interrupt if you want.
Mr. Morgan, I want to interrupt you, but I can't because I'm so fascinated by your story that it's actually rude of me to interrupt you. It's flowing beautifully, so that's the reason why I'm not interrupting you. You're actually ticking off all my questions, oddly enough. So no, please continue.
Well, and then we decided now that this is where it takes money. Both the championship and the Super League are going to take some good money. Trust me. And the first year we got into the championship, but I said to Jonathan and Holly and Jade and the committee and everybody else, we got to bring lesser men on board. And I turned to Jonathan and said, but Johnny, you know what I mean? You know what this means, mate? They're going to come on board and they're going to rebrand it, and that will be it, because we have seen example where when the Premier League men take over the women, that's where it goes. And I guess they have to put a business case to their committee and their shareholders and so forth. And that's the model. I try to be part owner. I try to be a partnership with them. I try to have 10% shares in it. No, because that wasn't the model nobody wanted. And everyone knew coming over the hill, styles for women football. I saw that from day one. The women football going to grow disproportionately. And I said to Jonathan again, we went to a meeting with the chief executive, Leicester. And when man was walking out of the meeting, I said, Jonathan, this is it. This is the beginning of the end, as you know it. We in charge in this club. We can either stay where we are, stay small, and run this club at Division 3 forever, or we can join forces, and so forth, and see what we can do. But let's see the first year in the championship. So we got alone the first year in the championship, and it cost us £500,000. Not me. The FA gave some money, I put some money in. They asked me where I get the money from, but I find it all over the place, borrow money, everything. And we fundraise. But by this time, the academy was paying off. The academy was so successful. Holly was running some teams in the academy. She had 6 or 7 players in the England national team. Yeah, she was so good at what she was doing. She and the coaches and Jonathan we're working around the clock. So we were providing girls. Right now, our girls, we have around 3 girls in England under 19. We have girls in the under 23. Girls that come through us, you know what I mean? So because we're so successful and with the new facility, we could charge this money and we use that money to pay players. So the first year championship, we managed. We have to be bloody prudent, and we have to be transparent because the FA scrutinized every penny. Really miss me because sometimes they just over scrutinize, but that's their job. And we have to start to pay taxes, we have to pay VAT and sub. The sub we have to pay VAT. Not only so, HMRC here was very tough on us also. So we had to become financial wizard to make things work. Just me on that one. That's the hardest part. And when we got the license, we got the license for the championship. And the first year, I said before, we have to go and buy players, pay players 20 grand a year. You can imagine that. and pay some player up to 23 grand a year. And we have around a squad of 25, a squad cap, and we have to get good players. And we did well. The first year we came, I think we came 7th. That's exactly where we came, 7th. The second year, which was 2020, the virus came, you know. So yeah. And I remember midway through the second year, I knew we were running short of money. I knew we were in trouble. And I started to think, and we started to speed up the negotiation with Leicester, the football club. And I just got up there because I tell you what, we managed to get them to invest in us £90,000, and we pushed through the acquisition. They acquired the club from us, you know what I mean, and take over the costs, you know what I mean. We have training facility and everything, and the only deal I could strike with them is that they got to pay all our staff, all volunteers, Jonathan, J. Holly, and all their staff. We have around 20 staff, you know, really, you know. And I was so happy, and we gave Leicester City Football Club, we hand over to Leicester City Football Club 8 teams from under 18 right down to under 9, a reserve team, and our first team in good nick. And they came on board and so forth. And it was, part of that deal, I said I would stay for 3 years as advisor to the board to make sure you guys understand the game and so forth. And we did that. And everybody think, you know, we're mad to do that. You know, we should keep it, we should get investors in. But I know the club belongs to the people of Leicester. I know, you know what I mean, it's a good thing to do that, you know what I mean. I'm not a carpetbagger, I'm not here to make money off the club. I'm just here on the way. I am just here doing my time, holding the button. Yeah, I'm holding the button, you know what I mean, to do that. And that was always my intention, and it's always my children's intention to be successful and make things happen. And we did, you know. We won the championship. That year, Jonathan won the championship instead of a record, you know, up against people like Casey Stoney. Liverpool was favourite to win the championship that year. And we won it. We beat all odds, and we won the championship with around 4 games to spare. It was some scintillating football play. Jonathan played a very attacking style football, you know what I mean, and so forth. And we won it, and we let Liverpool have to wait till this year. Liverpool won it this year, gone, you know.
That was a record-breaking season for you as well, right, Mr. Morgan?
Indeed. But we did it with such panache. For me, people seem to think that you have to showing off, you're there. We just go about our business doing it, you know, and I think that's the best way, you know what I mean. And we got a lot of accolades, FIFA, people from Europe, various invitations to come for interviews and do things, and we just continue. You know, my concern at the time was how Leicester going to conduct themselves, and I always have contingency in my soul, you know, that you think you're okay now, but tomorrow is different. Football is very treacherous. Football is very hard business. And if you're naive in it, you're stupid. When we decided to merge Leicester, we know Leicester is a business. You know what I mean? Leicester is want to sell T-shirts, want to do that. And in fairness to Leicester, when they came in at the best possible time, because when the virus hit, there was no way for me to fundraise, you know? So we would have to banner ways and suffer. And I pushed the negotiation that the club take over at that time. You know, some people say, Rohan, you're a mastermind. One of the finance guys say, you're a mastermind. That I'm saying it was the intention to mastermind. It was just the right time to do it. You know what I mean? And it happened, and not everything we liked. You know what I mean? Since I'm on the board still, I'm on the advisory board. And I'm bored to a certain extent, you know what I mean? Because I don't know how long I'll be doing that for, because I want to be action man. You know, I want to do something that is worthwhile. You know, I don't want to. I'm not ready to go upstairs there with a tie and drinking champagne and pretending that I'm somebody I'm not. You know, so winning the championship was a great time. Surviving the Super League, even Jonathan lost his job in the process because that's the name of the game.
It's cutthroat business.
Yeah, was a process, but I had a lot to because you got a squad that couldn't manage, and you could argue that the resources were getting less, and we didn't have the resources and the players, you know, last year to do it.
Yeah.
But he did left us in good stead, you know. He did left some good average to the girl, got them working, he got them fit and so forth, and that paid off. So he have a lot to contribute to that, you know what I mean? But I went to all the game, and I'm very, very proud. Not because Jonathan is not there. That's what happened, you know? That's football.
Yeah.
But I continued to support the team, and my daughter Jade, she's a general manager, you know? And Jade is tough as nail, you know what I mean? She run the whole operation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I have to ask you, like, I'm sorry to interrupt you, as it relates to, you know, Jamaican football and just football globally, because you said quite a lot there and all positive stuff. So I have to ask you, how do you get investors to invest in you as a young Black immigrant that came from Jamaica? How did you put yourself in such a privileged position where investors are more than willing to say, I put my trust in Mr. Rohan Morgan?
a good question is how most of the investors are parents, you know, I must say, but the people give us money and stuff. They see how we conduct ourselves with their children. They see how we bring their children on. They see how their children progress into better and better. They see their children playing for England. They see their children making the England camp, you know. So the color didn't matter. There were people there who hated us, other clubs, up and down Leicestershire. I will tell you that now. Want us to, they call us the mafia, you know. This is the Morgans, anything they want, they get. They win everything. They have all the best players. It wasn't like that. We were just very progressive, and we were just very professional. We were very transparent. We had to be transparent. The local FA was on our back. If we slip, we slide. Jonathan, you know, he's very passionate, and it sometimes I feel sorry for him because he was up against it all while. You know, I mean, the other managers could get our things, and if he said something, he'll be in trouble and so forth. But how you get people to buy into you is by your action, is by your results, or you conduct yourself. And we were always good. We're all academic, you know. We can go to a meeting and convince someone. You know what I mean? Not beg. We're not going to begging bowl. For example, the first thing I said to Leicester City, I'm not here with a begging bowl. I'm here to put a plan to you. You know what I mean? I'm here to show you where this club can go all the way. It can be a world beater. I'm here to invite you to be part of that. I'm here for you to take on the baton and take it to the next level, because I wouldn't be able to facilitate a Super League wages. That's now, you know what I mean? So we do that, but you're limited. You ask a question about how you get investors in. You're limited, you know. There's politics in the game, you know what I mean? An investor not going to invest in you if you not going to invest big money in you if you're not viable, if you don't have viability. You might think you have viability because we're doing well now, but what do you have, you know? Leicester City have viability. Leicester City have a lot of money in the bank. They have, you know, and so forth. So people are prudent. You know, you get maybe a 10,000 here or, you know, 20,000 here, but you're not gonna get 10 million or a million or 2 million because that's too much money. You know what I mean? But we can get lots of 5,000, 2,000, 3,000. We can continue to match fund. One thing I do well, if I can make that, would you give me that? You know, show people that you're not gonna sit down and just take their money freely. You know what I mean? You're gonna working as hard as them. So we match fund a lot where people give us some money. We show that we match fund with what we earn and what we deliver, and we have to do that. Same thing with the FA. You know what I mean? I'm always up there in in London, right up in the office, arguing for something, arguing for some advantage, Yeah, I do that. But ultimately, Christian, you got to have the right people on your side. You got to have the FA.
Absolutely.
The FA is all powerful. And if they don't want it, they will advise people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a job, We have done the best, the very best we have done. We're in the Super League. Can you imagine? We're in Division 6-5, getting relegated, getting laughed at with so much more club. We have bypassed hundreds of clubs who want to be in the Super League. And this little Jamaican guy, who was painting pictures that made him at the bottom of the what I mean?
Yeah, it's a wonderful story. It's unfortunate that I have to stick a pin in it because I have a gentleman who's in the studio and he's absolutely itching to speak to you. Apparently, he knows you very well. And if I don't bring him on screen for at least 60 seconds, that might be the end of me.
Yeah.
So I have to bring on someone who is apparently quite familiar with your face. Can you see him?
Mikey! My God. Look at it. Nothing changed, has it?
When was the last time you saw Mr. Ballin?
35 years ago.
Wow.
It's him, not it?
That is him. Mikey, you're on mute, so we can't actually hear you.
Mr. Morgan, sorry, sir. I'm in my car setting up.
Like Peter Pan, mate. How are you, Mikey?
Boy, working hard and look at you, the better one.
Well, you would say that. You always was clever like that, do you, Mikey? Yeah?
Listen, you know, say you are the better one.
You always been. Eh?
I don't know about that.
Well, I tell you that. I am good. I'm good. And yourself and family?
Family's good. I'm good. I have been my son. Well, we have a new baby coming in the next few days, so I think the ladies and family have some baby shower tomorrow. So
you're not going though, right? You're going?
Oh yeah, I'm doing a curry board
right
now, mate.
But hold on. Morgan, man don't go to baby shower, you know.
Well, that I don't believe in convention, man. Trust me. I'm just doing what I have to do.
Well, congratulations on the second grandchild when the child arrives.
Yes. We're driving a big lorry there, eh?
No. It's a little Toyota, this.
Okay.
But I have to go on a little mission, but I have you guys who are, hands-free, so I can talk and drive.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, so, boy,
Morgan, a lot of water went on the bridge with your brother, but let's not go there.
Yeah. I know that.
Mm.
And Michelle gone too, so.
Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
respect,
man. So, so how was the family and I look at disappointment there with not getting the job?
Well, you call it disappointment. I would say, on balance, they might have made the right decision. Not that I wouldn't want Jonathan to get a job, but being a professional and look at the logistics. The logistics that would associate with Jonathan getting everything together to go over the timing. It was tight, And
okay.
I'm not saying he would have jumped for it because even so, I was so elated. It brings tears to my eyes when I see development, because Jonathan is his own man, and I know he's been talking to different people, and quiet in the background, I was trying to process the whole thing, process when where, how, and so forth. My baby on its way, which we did some risk assessment on that. But even so, Mikey, I know you expect me to say something else, but
No, man, say what you want, say, man.
but this guy here, Donald Certain, he been there before. He seems capable. I'm going to wish him all the best because if a baby was running the Reggae Girls, I wanted to win. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I remember when I first saw the Reggae Girls in the World Cup, Khadija, I was talking to Khadija Bunny, as they call her, just a few months ago. You know what I mean? But I remember when I first saw the Reggae Girls, I was gobsmacked. I was spellbound by. I said to myself, when I was in Jamaica, there was no women football.
That
I
is
can't
right.
remember any women football in Jamaica, and then seeing the level of football and seeing Khadija playing with such masterful, such strength, you know what I mean, such guile. I said to myself, wow. And other girls, and when I went to watch them play against Nottingham Forest, I think they beat Nottingham Forest. Yeah.
It was back in 2018, so it was about October 2018.
Yeah.
That was the first time that the women's team, women's Reggae Girls senior team, traveled to Europe. So that was a historic occasion.
Yeah, and I said, wow. I was impressed. And I was getting itchy finger. And I'm saying, here I am doing all this bloody work in this country. No disrespect. And I said, how am I? I've been in the head, and I'm saying, how am I going to get back in Jamaica? How am I going to get involved? You know what I mean? How am I going to contribute? I know I can, you know what I mean? I know I can contribute positively to it. I've done it before. But come back to your question, Mr. Ballin. It would have been great, you know what I mean? But the logistics, I say, associated with that might be a blessing in disguise. But even so, we would have grabbed it with both hands because the amount of things we had to do, the amount of restructuring of ourselves, just the last 2 weeks, you never know. For example, Holly was down for a political show. She was to film for 1 month, and it was a good show. And she had to give that up because she wanted to do something. You know what I mean? So it's the enormity of how they see Jamaica. You know what I mean? They might not live there, they might be born here, but they know all about Jamaica. They feel it just like me, because that's, as a family, that's how we do things, you know? And I think you would have been great doing it. But the decision was made, and it was based on some things. I didn't think what they said was definitely correct when I read the paper, but I didn't think everything was accurate. But things can get lost in translation, and there's no need you cry over it. We got over it now. Go on.
One more question, Morgan. So, Jonathan, right? Is he an Englishman or a Jamaican?
What? Jonathan is a Jamaican. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And if you know, I've been in this country 35 years, 36 years, whatever. I still have my Jamaican passport. That's all I have. It's been renewed now. Take around 6 months to get him done, but yeah. So yes, and we all are. Jonathan do more things in Jamaica. We went there so many times. The last time we got to Jamaica, we went to catch crayfish in some river, in some hills in St. James and so forth. And go on.
Yeah, remember you remember telling me that even Jonathan almost paid for Medhaven, right?
Yeah, I remember we came out. Oh yeah, man, surreal moment, Mike. I remember we came out there and was driving by a Wagga house, David house, and we saw David on the wall sat down. And I stopped because I went to look for him, and Jonathan was around 15, prime age for minor league and stuff like that. He's a half decent player, if you're at that age. And I want to take him to play the match. I'm saying, no, you can't. I'm on a mission. I'm ready to go to Caribbean, and we'll start and say hi. You know what I mean? And you know when you go on holiday, you go there. We have
Yeah.
different mission, different people to see. And we have some clothes to give some people in the country, and I have to go. But we would have gone if it was like down bottom field. I think it was some far place it was going, Vineyard Town or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's why. But it was the last time I saw Wagga, very last time. And when I heard he passed, then shockwave through the system, you know. Mm.
You know, those, back in Haven there was some good days, man. When you have young kids running things, and how many even bring it to where you are now. It's an amateur league in here in Jamaica, bring it to managing Leicester.
Well, if you want to
Learning
look for
experience.
it, if you want to look for it, Balin, maybe I was the outsider, sort of. I came in. You guys been born and bred even there. I've been going through my paces, as I said to Crystal early on in the show. You know what I mean? I moved through the areas. One of the best part of my life was when I was growing up in Rosestone.
Yeah.
Rosestone's good. It was getting bad at the time.
Yeah.
And I still live in Patrick City, and so I come through. But when I came to Heavendale, it was posh at the time. It was really middle class area and stuff, and I get some time to breathe there. It was a good time. And those years, those 5, 6, or 7 years there, was glorious. You know what I mean? It was glorious because it was just right. I know things have changed, but it was good. There's a good set of guys, and there's a good mixture of people. Medrick High School was a great school because it was populated by kids from Red Hills, all the way out to Black Ants Lane.
Yeah.
And people come from doing the park. So it was providing education for not only the surrounding Meadowbrook, it was providing education for people for Whitehall Avenue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the way
One
back.
more question. One more question, Ron. In that photograph that Crystal have, the person that is fifth from the left kneeling. Can you bring it up, Crystal? You know who that person is? Fifth from the left, light skinned fellow.
Hold on. Which one? Fish from
the left, kneeling.
From Wagga side?
Yeah, man. From Wagga side, yeah. Kneeling, fifth person.
It's a Connell Spence, isn't it?
No. Craig
Bailey?
Butler. Bullet. No, Craig Butler. Bailey's stepdad.
Yeah. This somebody tell me about Bailey. Of some relative in that picture.
Yeah, that is Craig Butler. Bullet. Well, you may know him as Bullet. You know what we call him?
Bullet.
Yeah, Bullet. Bullet.
It's a long time though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see, you're in illustrious company there, or he's in illustrious company.
Yeah.
So, Mikey, I managed to give you your wish because I know that you was eager to finally see the lovely Mr. Rohan Morgan. So you can't be mad at me now. I've delivered and
No. Anyway, Crystal, this was a lovely show.
Thank you, sir.
And I don't know if you're going to go on after Mr. Morgan exit left. But if you are, I'll catch you later.
Okay, then I'll keep you posted.
Okay, then. All right, Rohan. Nice talking to you. Yeah, man.
Thank you. Drive safe.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Yes, Mr. Morgan. Yeah, I had to bring on Mr. Balin there because he has been messaging away saying that he wants to see his long lost friend. So I couldn't ignore him. It would have been fair to.
Yeah.
So I have to take it a step back because I am cautious of time. I have to take it a step back just a little bit to talk about why transparency in any organization, especially when you're looking at the federation or the association, why transparency is so key to any given business.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you asked why transparency is the key, yeah?
Yes, sir.
It is. I think I personally think if you don't have transparency, you can't move forward because you don't know, you can't keep second guess people. From a footballing perspective, transparency help people to understand, help the whole team to understand the strategy, not one person know and other doesn't know, and so forth. And that's stretched all the way out right across the spectrum. If some people don't understand what's happening, they can't develop or grow. They can't plan. They always second guess what's going on. And transparency leads, I suppose, transparency is a cousin to corruption, Yeah, it is, because if you don't have transparency, you have something to hide. And I think we're not talking about government who's keeping trade secret, or you're protecting your commercial interests. We talk about, if you are a national body, if you are a public body, like the FA, like the any football authorities, or any coaching setup, or so forth, you have a responsibility, to the public. You have a responsibility to the players, and if you don't have transparency, you have no trust. You know what I mean? And if you don't have any trust, it just not good for business. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna progress. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to develop and grow the team. That's why I see. You know what I mean? I don't want to be too negative, with transfer. A very good question, because quite often some people or some organizations, some nation can legitimize their transparency. You get me? So it's quick to call.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's quick to call the likes of my little country, Jamaica. Jamaica is a special place. You know what I mean? It have a culture. It have a development. It developed over time, and I guess only time will dispel some of the practices. You know what I mean, or whatever. But I'm the last person to call things too tough when others can gloss over it, and it can, like, some people can break the rules, some people can be secretive, some people, and then it's fine. But if others do that, it's the biggest sin. You know what I mean? And small countries, small countries or poor countries can't get away that easy because they can't legitimize it, and poverty is a hell of a thing. It's transparency is breaking the rules. Transparency is doing things easier. Transparency is costing. To be totally transparent, and you've got to have money to regulate properly. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So you have to. It's a hell of a thing. You have to. You can be honest and decent and everything, but not transparent, because if you were transparent, it wouldn't work.
Absolutely.
Because if you were transparent, everybody would want to. You meant the best, but you can't. There's a certain element of certain protocol you got to follow. You know what I mean? But not every time you can follow all the rules. When you can't afford to follow all the rules, or you can. How should I put it? You can't afford to be transparent. You can't afford to tell everything. Because you don't have a staff. You don't have the people to regulate and protect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes you have one or two people doing the job. Sometimes you have volunteers doing the damn thing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Absolutely. And we have volunteers doing it. It's hard. It's hard to drive transparency. You take money. You take time. You take effort. And transparency also you have to have the right people in place to get it. You can't expect just volunteers just to be that person all the while. You know what I mean? So
And
it's
volunteers are a little bit tricky there, Mr. Morgan, because oftentimes if they're volunteers, then dare I say, one can't or shouldn't expect them to go above and beyond because they are simply just a volunteer. So
yeah,
from a business perspective, you wouldn't necessarily put a volunteer in the higher echelons of your
no,
of any given
no,
organization because
no,
you will never get the best out of
no,
them.
no, you can't. And that's what I'm saying. See, we're dogged by money, we're dogged by resources still. You know what I mean? And I don't know the setup in elsewhere. What I can say, because the funny thing, Krista, when I left Jamaica, I didn't have no influence apart from working and making things happen at a lower level. You know what I mean? I was a wagga, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And coming here over the years I've grown up, I've seen how the FA work. I mean, sometimes the two, it's like an iron claw them have. They move slow, but you can tell they have so much resources to make it work, so much process, protocol, so much policies, so much guidelines, and so many people doing it. And you wonder, my God, are they? You know what I mean? The FA here, they're very prudent. They're very hierarchical. Yeah. However, it doesn't mean the end product is great. We still have in this country black girls are not the safety net. I wanna. If you ask me what would I want, you know what I mean. What would I want to do is to make sure. One thing that I did when I was in charge of Leicester City women is make sure. Yeah, Paige Bailey Gay, one of your girls who played for. I went to Arsenal and bought her and saw her, and she was just fascinating. And then there's another one called Lushonda Paul, and two Arsenal girls. They're good players and stuff like that. I bought another player. She played for us now, Ash. You know what I mean? Ashley Plumter, great play. You know what I mean? And they're all girls of color. You know what I mean? And they're all. But if you don't, what I'm saying, you might have all of the transparency, but there's certain transparency. Transparency doesn't work one way.
Mm-hmm.
There's transparency where, when it comes to black young women, not getting, if you look at England team here now, we hardly find a black girl in the team, and none coming through. So there's a transparency there with the FA. Why? You know what I mean? And then because if you look at the FA rules and regulation, if you look at the strategy for the next 5 years, they always have it. Well, I talk about legitimize yourself. They always have put it in writing. We're doing that. We want to do that. That's our objective. But it never happened. And it worked both ways. I mean, you can be this big organization, but it's not diverse enough. And isn't that part of transparency? So Jamaica or other smaller footballing nation might not have volunteered doing work and can't do it, or can't do it efficiently or professionally because they don't have the time, they have to work for their family, and you know what I mean, and stuff. And they're always labeled as that. It's so easy to label African nations, you know what I mean, and that and that. But in the places like this country, or they're still missing some key milestone, which not happening. You know what I mean? And that's why Black Lives Matter is also important. You know what I mean? Because it's everything coming around that area. You know what I mean? And what I think I would like to do, you know what I mean, as a agent or whatever, is to continue to work with young black women to make sure, or point out these things to the FA. So we need to have more black girls coming through. Because most black girls live in the ghetto here, come from a certain area, can't afford to go training, can't afford the SUV, can't afford the parents, picking up two parents and stuff like that. So we have to do something more to help them. With the extra mile.
What does the extra mile look like to you? Because I've always wondered, why is the career path for black girls and women in football so far and few? Of course, now young black young black girls have the privilege of looking at the 5-star general that's a Jade Morgan, or the educator that's a Holly Morgan. But women my age, we didn't have that type of privilege of looking left to right and saying these are our examples.
What does you ask question? What does being privileged look like? What
What does doing the extra mile, going the
Right,
extra step
right.
look like?
Right. What I think I'm doing at the moment, we're trying to set up another club, you know what I mean? And we're trying to fight, and we're trying to attract money from the FA and others, that young black girls who can't have a transport to come to training, yeah? We have transport to go and pick them up, you know, provide them with a meal, you know, and just without making them feel as if they're poor, you know, make them feel guilty of it, you know. It's to be more proactive. I hope I'm answering the question. It's more proactive, that if we want to be more diverse, we need to be able to bring those girls to training. We need to be able to place them that other people can see them. We need to be able to counsel them and talk to them that they're not different, you know, so they can, because the black girls have a bit of swagger. They're proud, you know, they're feisty, so they're not gonna take any whatever from people, you know what I mean? And I find that them drop out because they're not taking any, and they just need.
I love the fact that you've said that. I'm so sorry that I have to cut you off, but how do you manage that? Because like you said, when you're dealing with black girls or young black women, they are a different caliber to Sally. You know, you can't compare a Sally to a Holly or a Jade Morgan. You're dealing with a different pedigree. So how do you manage that?
It's by training, you know. We've been doing this 100 years ago, you know. We just keep going about the same thing, you know. It's people to understand other people's culture. You know, it's people to understand that, and it happens all the while. I've seen it. It's people to understand that if that girl is her teeth, that means that she's bad and she's rude, or she shrug her shoulder or whatever, or she look when you're bad, give you a bad look or whatever. It's an attitude. It's culture. It's that person. You know what I mean? It's to make those girls more approachable. But where's the problem in it? Let's hit where the problem is. The problem is it's too easy for some people can't wait for those behavior from black girls. You know what I mean? To say they're rude and they're out of order. It's for them to just go and talk to them, for them to stop pigeonhole them, you know, pigeonhole culture, you know what I mean? Because there's nothing wrong with the girls then. It's just a profession. Need to be trained, need to be understand. But even they've been trained, but they need to be literally forced to do that by their clubs. Need to make it very clear and strong that you can't say because she shook her shoulder, she's bad. You know what I mean? I can't say because, you know, it's not on. And we have a fight with them all the way. Holly fight with them like hell. You know what I mean? I would fight with them like hell. Jonathan is putting the line for them. But it's there. You see it all the while. All the other coaches them. Let's call it all the white coaches them. Sometimes just think. They just believe that it's that girls, and then those girls get left out. They get left with the training. They get left out with when they're injured and they get the proper look after. I'm seeing it. I'm black in the club and I'm seeing some girls. You know what I mean? They should be at the doctor. They should be in hospital for operation, and then they push aside and they say, oh, they don't want to train. They're not being believed, and we have to get people to believe them and realize that they're just human beings, and if you just take time to understand them, as you should do. As a teacher, you should be able to understand a student. Like we all come from different backgrounds. We shouldn't just simple one size don't fit all, you know. And I think to answer the question, it's so hard to answer because is one answer. People need to be aware of these things. You know what I mean? Clubs and stuff, welfare officers need to be aware of those things. and reinforce it to the bosses and so forth. But if you have the bosses and the coaches and everybody saying the same thing, that poor black girl, they just wither and die right there. I'm not gonna. I said, Mom, I don't want to go back to training because that, and that's what happens. That's why I find England is so short of good talent because I know there's loads out there. You know what I mean? And you look at the World Cup, there's enough, and I feel strongly about that. The things that I can talk more about because I can see it, and we need to eradicate that. You know, we need to demystify it. You know what I mean? Because it happens so often. You know what I mean? And we need, and just here again, take the Jamaican team, for example, or take other teams. We have Bunny, we have other players. Likewise, we need those senior players to become leaders, yeah?
Yes.
We need them to be empowered. We need them to believe in a football work-life balance, you know? We need those girls, their football career finish at 35 roughly. So what are they going to do after that? You know what I mean? We need the likes of, sorry if I'm ignorant, I don't know all the players, I'm not going to say no, but some of the senior players then, we need them to become coaches. We need more women coaches. We need when Donny finish and Donny colleagues finish and stuff, they feel empowered and feel happy and feel
secure,
confident, secured. So it's now they need to be assured, yeah, that the future is good and it's a good future to be in. You know what I mean? And that's the message I would put forward is I'm amazed at how the football has grown in Jamaica. I'm amazed at the level of play. I'm amazed at seeing you have girls over here now, black girls over here now, going over to play. I'm amazed that the good work has been done already. You know what I mean? It's all the things, this thing here with Jonathan and stuff that I'm doing some research more. And I'm amazed at certain things. You know what I mean? Really amazed. And the next level down is to continue that program, is to get the program in the school. But likewise over here, girls not making it to the end, you know what I mean? Our girls not make it at the highest level enough. Elsewhere, girls need to believe in a system that we have. No care how small it is, we need to be transparent to a certain extent. Yeah, we need to be fair. They need to believe that this is a career that is secure. It's a career that they're proud to get into. Because if we don't have players become managers and women players later on, then we're gonna fail, you know. And I think the work that the various players and partners have done in Jamaica has been great, you know what I mean? And I think I don't want to say too much because I'm not the expert. I don't know all the ins and outs, the culture and stuff like that. But generally, I think we have a nice little crossroad here. I mean, not even crossroad, but a pivotal point where Jamaica can be great. Yeah, I don't think so because we have the strength, you know. We have the killer instinct, you know. Meaning we like to win, we like to do things, and I think personally we need to crack on now. I think so. But back to your question again, when you say about what we have to do, you know what I mean? What it look, it's happened both places, right across the world. The people in charge need to be more transparent. The people in charge need to equip and ensure that the people that we're managing is aware of everything and are treated equally and fairly. And the whole thing about being diverse, it's not even black and white to be diverse. Being black, it can be rich and poor, you know. For me in Jamaica, when I came here, it's black and white every time, but when I left Jamaica, it was a class thing, you know. The rich people up there and the poor people down there, you get, you know what I mean, and so forth. And that in itself can hold it back. Any form of discrimination can hold it back. Okay, you're not you're not professional. You're gonna lack professionalism, and you're not playing to the strength of the people. That's what I think.
I have to ask you another question here as well, as it relates to, taking care of the players and the need that, clubs need to better take care of black players or players
Mm,
who come from poorly represented backgrounds. Do
yeah,
you think that we're at a point in society where every single club, be it at club level or international level, should at least have a welfare officer in place that's there to pretty much protect the players or to help
yeah.
the players when mental health issues arise?
Wow, a good one. That is yes. Again, the area of welfare is you have to be good. You know what you're doing. But I answer the question. Yes, every club should be there to protect players from the bosses, protect players from other girls, protect players from the system and the whole. With confidence, girls should be able to have someone where they can go to talk about the issues and so forth. And clubs should make it welfare officers have the power, really have the power to make decision and to make recommendation and feel that power and shouldn't be. But then we go back to in this country, if a white welfare officer sees something differently from, what I mean, but my experience with welfare officers, they always white and not white. If it's, I hate the terminology, you know what I mean. But they always seem to know what's best, you know what I mean, and so forth. I do think, on balance, they always get things right. What I don't think is the support they don't get. What I think is the welfare issues are very nerve wracking, when girls report certain things and the strength is not there, the strength of support is not there. And mental health thing, it's not a simple thing, It's not a simple welfare officer. You need psychologists, My view is that every professional club and every national team should have a wealth of these people, doctor, welfare officers, not one, but two, you know what I mean? Psychologists, everything. Because the mental health thing is a big thing. You find, as I said before, you find a lot of players here. A lot of black players tend to have the issue. They close off, because they don't want to share the culture, they're afraid to. The culture is, well, nobody don't take me seriously. It's like I'm a guinea pig or whatever. And I think there's a lot of work needed doing on that. And from experience, I've seen it. I can tell you who's talking to the welfare officer. He's a black girl, yeah. I see it all the while. And so I think it's imperative that we have proper welfare officers and doctors. You know what I mean? Looking out for the welfare of the girls, and the girls are well aware of that. The girls are aware of where to go, and the girls don't feel confidence with those people. You know what I mean? The girls are not, I forgot that person. Then we'll go back to the coach and talk. You know what I mean, and so forth. You need to be separate. It needs to be a proper due diligence area. A welfare officer or a psychologist or whatever need to have a power, really seriously, to make those decisions and to make the recommendation and to have that relationship with the coach, our managers. It should be one of those areas where as soon as the coach spots something or the manager, they have to have a case meeting with the welfare officer. They have to get it down. You know what I mean? Rather than sweep it on the carpet, they'll say it will go away. It can never go away. You know what I mean? So I think that's an area that is so important. We have seen, in the media, how many different coaches and that and that and that and that. And it's such a hard area to police if you let it get too late. If you let it dragged out, you know what I mean? they have to be in the women's game. Trust me, in the women's game, they have to be safeguarding every step of the way. You know what I mean? It's no use you talk about it when it's too late. When you know what I mean. One of the rules we have rules. You know what I mean, that if you're gonna drive in a car, when I used to take girls to train and stuff, Holly has to be near with me. You know, Holly, you know what I mean, or 2 or 3 or 4. Never, you know what I mean. Never you're alone, irrespective. Or if you're gonna go alone, pick up a girl, you have a letter from a family, from a mom, the dad, and there's a dynamics there and so forth. Never let it get out of hand, even when it look safe. No, it's not. You know what I mean? Because it all will lead to something. You know what I mean? And you have to safeguard the coaches too. Unfortunately, you have to safeguard the coaches too. So by following some strict protocol, everybody is protected. You know what I mean? And it's very, very important. Very important. But we have coaches and players. Some players, we have one instance when they play in the 30s, and one of our rules, if you're gonna have a relationship with any player here, one of you got to go. You know, you go or them, you know what I mean, one of go. End story. You know what I mean? So there's some strict rules, and I tell you what I like. If you really spell it out to the players, they will listen. If you really spell it out, they'll take it on board. But if you blurred it, you know what I mean, and so forth. So answering the question is important. It's a hard area, you know. It's a very taxing area because it is so damaging when something happens, and it can destroy people's life, both players and coaches and everybody else, and it can linger on. And so it has to be dealt with properly. And clubs should, the board members in clubs and the hierarchy in clubs should feel assured that they have everything in place. Everything in place. For one, to run an effective and healthy club. And 2, to protect your staff and players.
I'm so sorry for asking you that question, but I was itching to ask you because in some of our conversations, obviously off the record conversation, one of the things that you've always been bringing up is due diligence. And honestly, that was just music to my ears because I trust that if you're so big and sincere when it comes to due diligence, I know that Holly would be the same, Jade would be the same, subsequently, Jonathan would be the same. And, you know, the reason why I asked you the question is because it's no secret that Jamaica, unfortunately, we're looking at a minority issue in our community, which is now, it appears to be widespread as the years go on when it comes to due diligence check. And we know, again, unfortunately, that we do belong to a culture that likes to overlook issues in relation to sexual assault, rape, child molestation, and so on. So when I hear the creator, the engineer that is Rohan Morgan, saying that he speaks so passionately and sincerely about due diligence check, it absolutely is music to my ears, and I can tell that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
It's important in every aspect of the way, you know what I mean, and every one of my staff have to go on welfare training and so forth. They all have to understand that they're vulnerable girls, and you need to find the vulnerable girls, because these girls have problems from home. Yeah, it's not just come from starve. There's girls that have problems at home. There's girls that self-harm. Got them have a problem from home. And you have to find it out and flesh it out with the welfare officer and change the whole thing. Bring back the confidence in that girl's life or that coach's life or whatever. You have to do that. That if you don't do that, then you talk about the word transparency again. There'll be lack of transparency. And everybody will know something, and oh yeah, that person seen that person, but blah blah blah. I won't say anything because I don't want to get myself in trouble. We have to. One of the things is, I know this country very much whistleblowing, you know, and whistleblowing. But one of the things we've got to get is, if we're in a committee, if we're in a community of footballers, coaches. And this is us. We are a team. This is a Jamaican team. We want to win tournament, we want to do that. But we need to be transparent. Everybody needs to know the rules, know the code, and everybody, if they break it, they need to get punished for it. Or they need to be put back in check, or they need to be reminded. John, you can't take me home alone. Are you safe, John? But you need to let her take a taxi or bring a female with you. John, you shouldn't be talking to her. If you have an issue with her, bring out a female in the room when you're talking to her. Cover yourself. I'm actually know that we want to make sure that you have to do it non-stop. And you should do it. And men does it too. Men, you got to do it. Not because she's a woman, or even if you're a player. Because player from both sexes get discriminated and get abused from. So you got to make sure that these things are covered and you have clear policy and procedure. And you don't have to spend boring time, you just have to just be clear. So when a player joins your club, the induction is so clear. This is what we expect, and so forth. And if you don't do that, then you're in trouble. And you take those time to do it. You have to do it.
Absolutely. I know I'm winding down, guys,
Yeah.
to our final minutes with Mr. Rohan Morgan. I can see some of you are asking a few questions in the comment section. I promise you I'm not ignoring you. Seems like you've got yourself a fan there, Mr. Morgan. This is from Woon Woon. Good evening to yourself, Woon Woon, all the guys in the comment section. It says, Mr. Morgan is experienced in pitching ideas. What advice does he have for anyone pitching ideas to investors? Has Mr. Morgan thought about becoming JFF president? He would be great. I'm not going to disagree with you on that last part there, Woon Woon. I think he would most certainly be a great president for us.
Mm-hmm. No. As I said before, I left Jamaica at a certain time, and while I was there, I was ambitious, to do things and to protect my community and to have fun, and so forth. And I came here, and I've grown up here, As a matter of fact, I spent more time here than, and you can't change things from outside. You have to be inside. I'm not one where I want titles and stuff like that, but if that's what it takes to make things happen, then I'm not afraid of none of it. Mm-hmm. But it has to be genuine, real, and you have to have an agenda, a positive agenda. You got to have support. You know what I mean? And you got to have support from across the aisle. You know what I mean? See this. That's one thing I find sometimes. If I was going to be a president for an association, I want to make sure that everybody are the majority is on board. So you've got to have something to sell that people can link to, understand. You got to buy. You got to get buy-in. And if I get buy-in and stuff, and we have a good agenda, a good work program for the next 5, 10 years, whatever, and people really want to buy into it, and so with no problem for me, because people think you have to look a certain way to be a president. You have to look a certain way to be that. You have to be a certain color to be that. You have to be a certain gender to be that. You know the whole bloody things. And no, because I see some people in my time. I read about people who make things happen. Just and I said, my God, he did that. He did that. He did that. And these are communist people. There's people, it's normal people who not only talk about it, but have things in place and make it happen and committed to it. And anything I do, I will be committed. You know what I mean? No, being president of JF, I don't know who's the president. I know the president I've read, but I don't know that. I'm sure Jamaica have so much more people there could do it.
I mean, I think, yeah, you're right. I'm not going to dispute that. But
I would work with anybody.
I don't think Jamaica have many footballing family where you could kill multiple birds with one stone. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at yourself, obviously the leader, the engineer of the Morgan dynasty. You've got the head coach in Jonathan Morgan. You've also got the five-star general in Jade Morgan. You've got Holly, who is capable of doing scouting, a first team head coach as well within her own rights. She's also got
Mm.
her own management business on the side. So this is what I say, using one stone to kill multiple birds. I can't think of no other footballing team, be it family or business partners, that is as attractive as the Morgans.
I sort of give you a snapshot of me, where I'm from. So if anybody out there think I didn't like when they put Englishman Jonathan Morgan in the paper, you know, what's that? What's that all about? I've never been called an Englishman in the life, you know.
Yeah.
And I know Jamaica inside out. I know the rural areas, I know the cities, I know the ghettos, I know the uptown, not uptown like Cherry Garden, but I know the place enough. I have I don't know what it's taking. I still do because I keep in touch, you know, I keep in touch with friends, families, and so forth. And I've never felt at home here. I'm comfortable in the sense that, but I never felt at home that, you know what I mean, I always, before I go to bed at night, I go to a safe place. And it's, you know what I mean? It's Jamaica. Think about when the good old days, you know, party days. It's my safe place, and that keep me well grounded, and stuff like that. And I work in the black community here very well, and I want to do something. Yeah, I'm giving up the club to Leicester because it's players are getting six figures now. Yeah, players are getting six figures. Women are getting six figures. You know what I mean? And that will be well out of my league. But I am I'm toying, you know, even to move back to Jamaica. And if something come as majestic as this, or something come, and that's not even talk about the president. I mean, thanks for that compliment, whoever wrote it, but I'm happy to just work with, be part of a team, working for progress, and working. I'm happy to contribute to what I've already done, because I think a marvelous work has been done. You know what I mean? And I said, when I watch the World Cup and see Jamaica playing, I could not believe it that we could play that football. This is when I was there. So I know a lot of work, and you have to respect those people who have done it, you know, and who have find the resources and find the time, whether they're volunteers or that, whether they do a good job or a bad job, whether they, you know what I mean? And it's only by respecting that, and I'm sure there's not a mistake. It's Jamaica we're talking here, man. Jamaica is, I live in a place, you know, work a separate, not much garbage drive, you know what I mean? I used to walk to work there, I used to jump the wall and go into Tivoli Garden in the morning and get up to no good. But I'm not gonna go there, you know what I mean? Once I get up to no good, you go and just when lads and lads meet up and so forth. I know the place inside out. You know what I mean? My mom brought us up very well. You know what I mean? To respect people and to have a good work, strong work ethics. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so forth. And my children is the same. I brought my children up here, and they very much know who they are.
Conscious.
They know who they are.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I can leave to the world, is to make sure I have some children who can contribute. And I'm willing to, it's no skill of my back to do nothing. So now I wish I could just teleport myself to go watch a medieval game, you know? You know, just see the fair moment and stuff like that. And I do need some of that. But I'm more than happy to do anything that can help when I'm here, there.
Advisor role? I would love to see
Yep,
you know,
yep,
advisor
yep,
role in some
yep,
capacity.
yep, yep.
I'm a bit greedy though, Mr. Morgan. I say advisor role, but that's me trying to pull a fast one because I would love for you to bring the gang along at some point. Obviously, I'm referring to your lovely family.
But
I'm a
yeah,
little bit
yeah.
upset, you know,
But you
hearing
see,
that you say that
well,
Holly is can you hear me?
yeah.
I'm a little bit, not a lot. I mean, I'm happy for Holly, but a little bit upset to hear that Holly's putting players in the pipeline for England. I would much rather see Holly do that for Jamaica
I,
because
I,
I'm selfish.
I would tell you, I went to the awards, Leicester City Awards, guys, the men and women together to
Mm-hmm.
see all the millionaire boys and get the money and get their awards and stuff. And the girl who won Best Young Player of the Year,
Mm-hmm.
Holly have her for 5 years. You know, Holly have Holly have a team of girls. You know, what I mean, one after the other into the England camp. As a matter of fact, and this is I'm telling you the gospel here. You know, the England selector always come to her training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To look for players, and this is our academy. This is our academy. We set the academy up. We go and bring those girls in. We go and headhunt them and stuff forth. And selector come leave the FA run academy and come to us to find girls. You know what I mean? And the under 17 captain is Holly's girl. Under 17 captain. Holly Hubbard from she was around 9. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I can't call her name online, but
Yeah. Of course.
yeah, but she had done marvelous well. And so Jonathan do a lot of work. You know what I mean? Because I tell you why. Because we want to be somebody, you know?
Yeah.
We don't want to sit down and don't be somebody. We want to realize some form of potential. You know, I suppose if we're living in Jamaica, we'll be doing something more important and stuff like that. But you can't live in a country and let the country, because you might have desperate inequality in some areas and stuff, in some areas of work. But we can't let that stop us from realizing who we are and manifest that in our work. And that's what we do the family. That's why I said to my children all the while, we got to keep going. We've got to aim for the top. We've got to aim for the best. We shouldn't be afraid. You know? And now Jonathan was approached for this job and with Jamaica and stuff like that. He rang me, you know, elated and he just got the Burnley job, maybe a few weeks before. And he rang me and said, and the very next week, he just, and this the Burnley manager, he's the owner, this is the owner, you know, he just dropped him an email and tell him, frankly, this situation, he would like to do it, and it's an opportunity he will miss. He's a Jamaican. That's what he said to the man. He didn't say he was an Englishman. He said, I'm a Jamaican, and I would like to participate and stuff. And he was so energetic about it. And then when he spoke to Holly said, yes, we have to make some adjustment. And she made all the adjustment that will come. We have to make some structural adjustment in our business or what we do to avoid conflict of interest, you know. It's the same old building. But if we have that turn, you know, and so forth. And we have things in place. So if the answer was yes, then Holly would have come out with Jonathan. You know what I mean? He's like that. And it wasn't hard. And I was, you know what? I was a bit surprised that they want to pick up a gauntlet. I'm gonna say, you guys don't bloody know Jamaica. You've never been, you're gonna live there. You think you kind of go out there, and it's not England, you know. Jamaica have a certain telling. You got to understand to read the telling. I have a go out there and and stuff like that. And I said, no, we got there to do a job. They weren't afraid, and I was afraid. You know, people come here, live here, and they feel that Jamaica is bad and that and that. I don't feel like that. When I got there in 2 minutes, I can drive like I used to drive when I was there. You know what I mean? I never feel like that. But they surprised me incredibly because it was like kid in a candy store. Yeah. And I said, oh my God, I can't believe that. And I felt so proud of them. They want to do it. They want to do it and so forth. But as I said to you before, it's not necessarily a bad decision they made. I don't know the people. I'm not going to comment on who's who. I did some research and see who's Donaldson, to where he is, and he's been in the game a long time. He's not a novice from what I've read and so forth. I'm going to wish him all the very, very best. That's what I'm saying. Wish him all the very, very best that he can get us qualified and so forth. And that's how it works. You know what I mean? There's no other way we should look at it. And if sometime in the future there is an opportunity, I'm not going to speak for Jonathan, he's an old man, but I'm sure he would be more than happy to look at it again. It would take a skin off our nose because we've been working towards that. You know what I mean? Whether the men's team, the women's team, whether it's netball, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Jason made that. I'm going to do something in the administration area and stuff like that. But we must not be blasé about things. As I said to them, we must not think we are better than Jamaican. That there's people out there, you know what I mean? Yeah. The last thing I want to do is to disrespect people out there who can have a chance to do these things and want to do these things, if it's possible. And we could come and help and stuff like that. But I would always tell them, and I said to them, guys, the country's a bright country, some bright people there, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You want to see the pass mark and stuff, because I know. One of the reasons I come here, I couldn't get into the university out there. It was too bloody hard to get in, and stuff. So, yes, Crystal, I really appreciate your time. And I'm responding to you by saying anything is possible. And I'm optimistic to be part of that. I'm a Jamaican player. I still don't have a British passport, I still have I have to send off for it to get it renewed. They say you're going to take 5 or 6 months because it's a backlog. Whenever I'm traveling, I have to go to London for the embassy and get my passport, my Jamaican passport stamped, So, but I might have to relent on that one, because more and more it's getting harder if we just keep getting the Jamaican passport stamp, So I might have to go for an English passport, but I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah. I mean, the impression that I'm getting, and I haven't asked you this question off air, off the record, but it seems to me that it's quite obvious that Jonathan, and you said he would have brought alongside Holly. We know that Holly has her hands in several different pots. I don't even have the time on my hands to speak of how.
But Holly's in, because when she know everything went, she's in France riding. She riding 400 miles for charity, because she hold it, because she was to ride it from the virus time and the delay. But she was willing to cancel that and everything, you know what I mean? But she find when we knew, when the press release said Donaldson got the job, then we knew everything was settled and so forth. And it's good. What we would like if it was settled just a bit earlier, so we make some plans and we actually press some buttons. But
proactive decision making.
Yeah, of course. And I would do it again, I mean, you talk about Holly of a management company. Holly actually now restructured a company that to put it in a different entity, that she could. I mean, she's been with the FA. She talked to the FA 100 times, the FA about the logic, how you do it, how you go about it, and so forth. She talked to other agents to see how. And other agents don't necessarily have the number. They have somebody else do. So there are ways around it, and she did it. So it was just that, it cost a bit of money, but it was positive. You're right. That was a positive decision, positive move to make, and it's great. It's great.
How disappointed is Jonathan? Again, I know you said you can't speak for him, but you're his dad. You know him best.
Yeah, I know him. I know him in the sense that he keeps saying, "Oh well, But I know he's disappointed. He's disappointed because I know he is. He wanted it. But I said to him, just make sure you want it for the right reason. Not because you want to be a big manager for Jamaican reggae girls, or no, he said he wanted because he wanted to be part of it. He said to me, which I believe him to a point. He said to me that it's an opportunity. It's a great opportunity, better than any opportunity here you could have. Because the national team and they have a massive, you know what I mean? They have a massive. What he meant by that? They had potential, and there was girls here that he could have, talked to and stuff like that, and so forth. So he would have grabbed it with both hands.
Yeah.
And I'll be there right beside him. But go back to what I said, Christian. The 4th of July, to get everything done and dusted and stuff. Well, that's why the JFF made a decision. They look at it and said, well,
my understanding, Mr. Morgan, based off what you've said, is you, as the Morgan's family, alongside Jonathan, your son, and Holly is one of your daughters. You guys behind the scenes were making proactive decisions. If in case you were given the green light to say,
yeah, you gotta plan for things. There's no use. You can't wait until time, and we do it all the while. And you lose some, you win some, but most of the case, you got to be ready. You got to plan ahead. You got to plan for the next train. And I was looking. I think one of the reasons is that for him to take over the team, he would have talked to all the coaches here and wherever they are in the world. You never know the fitness of the girls. You never know what the numbers are. You know what I mean? How fit they are, what their mental state is. It's a lot of work in the preparation. And I'm sure most coaches in the world know if you play international football, or you play in Super League football or Championship football, the preparation is unbelievable. You know what I mean? And it's a bit late now. So I just wish Donaldson can get these girls ready and get them talking and gel them down, because there's a lot of animosity in the past based on, I saw some letter with a sign or something and
yes,
so that was so. And so those girls now need to realize also that whilst they spoke, you know what I mean, it was very uncharacteristic for a team to do that in such numbers. You know what I mean? Sometimes, but I cannot comment again because you never know what's there after. But I saw a letter and it was a long list of things that wasn't being done.
Yes.
Long list, man. Long list. And whilst he might have won all his games and stuff, it doesn't mean we're going against the Giants now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you've got to do your numbers to them. You've got to know what they're doing. You've got to on it, you know what I mean, and so forth. The girls need to be ready, you know what I mean.
Mentally and physically prepared.
Yes, but yeah, and then the season just finished. The most league finished now. So what they've been doing from that time to now, you know what I mean. You take a few days before them put on a few pounds if they're not careful, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, and get all the conditions and stuff like that. So it'll be a lot of work, a lot of talking with all the coaches, respective coaches. So to find out what knock you have to speak to, look at the health plan in the club, the physio. You have to get hold of all the physio and see their record and so forth. So there's a lot of work to be done, and I'm sure Dons will know that in a way, because America is pretty much on those things. They're very much professional in those sort of things. So, but yeah, to answer your question, yes, they would have grabbed it with both hands, and you could tell. I know him. He's been lad. I know him long enough now to know that. No care what he tell me. He tell me was just stop the blow. He was very, very much. What else? He was very much disappointed, yeah, or he was saddened. He was a bit sad for it, you know. But I think he's back where he is now. And again, he had big plans, and he started thinking, could get Burnley to play friendlies with them and get them into Burnley and stuff like that. And
So
friend,
we could have potentially have seen the Reggae Girls playing against Burnley as one of the.
yes, yeah,
Wow.
it was.
That's an
No,
issue. I
that,
mean, as things stands, Mr.
no,
Morgan,
that,
that's
no, no, that was what Jonathan think. I mean, he was
yeah.
talking. There was potential. I think there was that's the sort of discussion he was going to have to see how we're going to benefit.
The
You know,
relationship.
yeah, yeah, and so forth. Because yeah, and see how it worked out. I know him have that discussion. I know him have that. He was to see the hierarchy there and so forth. So well, there's no need for it now. You know what I mean? So everything was we've been busy. Everything was put in place and so forth. But look, Kisalia, I mean, we have to just wish everything was a plan, and we have to just wish that the regular country be supported. And because you have other teams there, you have the under 17, under 20, and there's a few teams.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, so at least there's something there, you know. But what needed now is a league, you know. It's that sort of thing. That's on my mind work now. We need a league behind.
Mm-hmm.
Look how small the league is. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
Montego Bay in the middle say we need leagues and maybe the games. And what they do over here, I realize when they don't have enough to play, they play them less. They don't have much game, but they tailor made the league to suit. You know what I mean? And you have a development officer, a couple of go around with the different areas and just to make sure there's a number of girls and to organize it and so forth. And it's not hard, you know. It's just to get them hearts and mind. You know, you're going and the schools are happy. But the school program in Jamaica, when I was there, Sunlight Cricket, Manning Cup, Champs, it was clockwork, you know.
yes.
So the women football would just clocked in. You know what I mean? You,
Mm-hmm.
you could have a women football clocked in with the Manning Cup. You know what I mean? Like a yeah, maybe you know what I mean. But the same thing. You know,
Yes,
I think the infrastructure is there already. You just know to get the funding and to want the right people to look at the wider Caribbean, the wider FIFA, the funding. And there's money out there, and that's where I think the women game, even the Premier League here, props would fund some of it. You never can tell, you know what I mean? I've never investigated the potential, but I know the women game is of such that it could happen. You know what I mean? And if you have the right people in place and you have the right energy and the will, both the political will and the economic will from companies and stuff and bodies, it could work. I think it could work.
absolutely.
And I believe Jamaica will get a great team for the future. I do believe that.
I definitely echo that and second you on that one. Guys, in the comment section, we've got about 5 more minutes of Mr. Morgan's time. So fire away with your question. I have a question here from Mr. Wilkinson. He says, Mr. Morgan, with your love for Jamaica and football, would you think of setting up an academy for both males and females football here, especially in Western or Central Jamaica?
Most certainly. No, that is it. You see, he was listening to it. Most certainly, because you see, you set the parameters for academy. You know, you start with the young. You know what I mean, and and you have to just go and do your work, your research. You know, you have to just go and do your investigation. You have to get the right minister of education, government on board. What you're doing, you have to get buy-in from. You know what I mean? When they ask them for the money, we just ask them to look at the plan. You know what I mean? And your plans all over the place. I could pull 100 plans from here and bring down here. You know what I mean? It's not like I say it's warm. It's not like I say it's hard. People have to make things hard, you know. But it's a simple thing. We don't have to reinvent the wheel either. You know what I mean? We have so much things done already about developing academy, about developing center of excellence, about develop. And as a matter of fact, we can look at what don't work here, you know, and stuff. So yeah, by all means, and that would be a pleasure. That'd be fun, but it would be. I am sure that you have takers. You know what I mean? If you have the right people on board, you know what I mean? If you have the right Jamaican players and come down and promote it with you know what I mean, and so forth. Yeah, but
Yeah,
coming around and stuff like that. And that's what happened here. That's what happened here. Every
yeah,
day you look at the paper, the England players them going out there, going to open that, going to give support to that county about the football program and so forth. Same thing.
yes, I definitely agree with that. I've got about two more questions for you.
Yeah.
So I'm about to bring up a image here. You must have seen this one already, correct?
Yeah, that's John. Yeah, that's Jonathan when he pick up his award for the Premier League. For Manager of the Year. He won Manager of the Year. You know, and
Yes.
Emma Hayes. She's the best thing, and Klopp, the Liverpool manager. And it's League One and League Two managers. I don't know the name. Yeah, I was there. I was sitting in the audience. But that's a good night for him because he won the award, and he was given the job to receive the award on behalf of all of them and give a little speech. But that was good, and he did well because people came over to the table and so well he did. That was good. That is good for me. If you want to ask me a good moment, that's good because he went up there and he composed himself well, and he took the award and he spoke on behalf of everybody and put it nicely in context. You know what I mean? Without boring anyone or without saying wrong things. So I was pleased for him then.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating picture. Obviously, like you said, he was there to pick up an award, Manager of the Year,
Mm,
for what he did with Leicester and elevating them to top tier women's football
mm,
in England. And it's not an easy feat, is it? Standing next
mm,
to the likes of Emma Hayes and Klopp, two well-respected names in the
yeah,
game. So,
yeah.
just how good of a manager or a head coach, I should say, is Jonathan Morgan, because he's at I would say, perhaps the preseason years of what will be a successful career, and already he's tasting trophies and tasting
Mm,
success at such early doors.
mm. And yeah, and I keep I like to keep my feet firmly on the ground,
Hmm.
And he's a young lad and have a lot to learn in terms of understanding cultures and he's very, very optimistic and he's very look ahead and but you need to understand the side roads also. You need to understand.
Yeah, yes.
But you go, you learn, you know what I mean? And he's own man and I don't. Me and Jonathan talk every day on different things. We do some work together also. Some of my business and he's involved in and so forth. But I was surprised to know how I never asked the question before. You see, I've never asked him, and and I was quite surprised to see how he wanted to do it
Hmm.
to the point that he would have given it his number one choice.
Yes, incredible, incredible. So moving all mountains to take the job.
Mm, mm.
Hmm.
So that was good, but he but yes, I think he would have tried on me. And I asked before he approaches his employer and approach them very well, very and give them reassurance, it could work because there's a lot of managers because there are a lot of international managers for smaller nation with less resources have to keep their job, their day job, and do it. So there's a lot of coordination would require,
Hmm.
and is for him now to set up the right assistant manager with him at Burnley and get a right good team together, you know, and so forth. So those moments when you have to go away on Jamaican duty wouldn't be challenging, you know what I mean, and so forth. So yeah, I thought
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah
I like that. I think that is a reasonable decision making there. Obviously, with the huge emphasis that he would have, like you said, made it his number one choice. And this is why it goes back to me saying that, you know, the Morgans are an attractive football family, because you get one, you can pretty much get all. The idea of killing multiple birds with just one stone, because of their connections of the likes of Leicester City, now Burnley. Obviously we're referring to the women's team here, but it's just, and that's just the start of what a lot of you know. There's so much behind the scenes that you guys don't know. So
mm,
yeah, I think that this is the start, or it's not even the start, but it's we're on the upward trajectory, and I can only see that your family will taste multiple successes as they develop.
yeah. But what's also important, Christian, is that it's for me that is we can listen to our own voice, you know. It's so
Hmm.
easy to listen to the man in your head or listen to your own voice, but the reality is what is important is that you have a united front, you know. And I know it's that you don't understand the united front and everything. Everything's always of conflict, you know. Jamaica's a conflict, you know, in that respect. But yeah, that is important, you know, to so we're becoming I use the word becoming not naive but optimistic
Hmm.
and want to get it done, you know what I mean, and so forth, and that will be our approach, you know what I mean. But we won't be stupid either. I'm an old head. I won't be stupid, but it's important that we get buy-in. That's what I'm saying. Donaldson is there now, and we should stand behind him. You know,
Absolutely.
whoever running the show, we should stand behind. There, you have to have that level of solidarity.
Yes.
Yes, I
Yeah.
mean, there's no use. We're gonna carve a spillman. It's not spillman. I think the process could have been a bit more clearer,
Hmm.
but then I'm not going there either because I don't know what time people have, what people working up, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
are they volunteers? So, but it's there's certain future there, and I think I would like to think that sometime in the future we could play a part in Jamaican football. We love football. We're football mad here, you know. We dream it, you know what I mean, and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and play a part one way or the other, you know.
Yeah, definitely. But wishing you all the best of luck in your future there, both for yourself and your family. Before you go, I think it's only right for me to ask you, how do you stay ready and relevant for the future?
Ready and yeah, the class question. You yeah, it's a yeah. That's a good question. I wonder why I said a good question because that's the question that matters. You can't give up to start with. You have to be motivated. You have to believe in what you're doing. But there's so much to do. You know what I mean? Ready and relevant. You've got to continue to lobby the game. You've got to continue to work with FIFA, with the FA. You've got to continue to, for me, is about the diversity of the game. For me, it's about getting everybody, every black girl, young black girls out there, black women out there, having access to the game, equal access.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's how I say ready and need it. It's a job for me, you know what I mean? And not because well, say it's a job for me, it's something that football, it moves mountain and it breaks down barriers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much work to be done. You know, so I say if you're ready by being a consultant, you know what I mean? Now I do a lot of consulting with players, with other authorities, and so forth. How I say fit and ready, I advise. How I say fit and relevant, to keep abreast of the game, to keep abreast, to read a lot. You have to read a lot to what FIFA want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How you say fit and ready is to be there before everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, for example, good example is, let's say we talk about the Jamaican game and stuff. So after the World Cup, there's another cycle. You know what I mean? Let's look at that cycle and see how we can hop onto that cycle, if possible, or help to advise how we can do it. In Jamaica, we talk about the academy, that question the man asks. Yeah? When you put up academy there, that's what you say to them. Open, always open to suggestion, always open to the potential, and always never ever stop looking for solution, never looking for angle to lever into making happen. For me, more than football. You know, we talk about football, but for me, it could be anything else. But it's a legacy again. You know, it's something you love and you want to be part of it. You want to leave something that other people can come and enjoy. That's what I do football. I do football here in Leicester, for Leicestershire and the surrounding boroughs, you know. Now, when I walk down the street, believe me, when I walk down the street, people know, oh yeah, you know what I mean? When people stop me and said, yeah, and stuff, and then talk about, yeah, boy, my daughter is now watching Arsenal coming to Leicester. Yeah, my daughter is now watching Chelsea. If we could not watch Chelsea unless we get a round in the cup. We're lucky in the cup, and you know the cup run.
Yeah.
Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Man City, you know what I mean? Coming to the King Power, coming to Leicester, and stuff. So that's how you say relevant, is to look at what left to do. Simply, it's true. There's so much to do, you know what I mean? That there's no time. It's easy to say fit and ready, but it's always open. I'm always getting inquiries, you know what I mean? So I don't think that's a problem at all. My problem is that I want to be able to deliver. The delivery of it, you can talk about it. I want to be able to deliver. So what we'll be doing now, me and Holly and Jade. No, Jade is that person. Jade is the tactician. Jade does off all the, you know, Jade is coming to brass tacks. You know, Jade is a logistic person. Jade will just cut you down to the ground. If you're talking a lot, you can't sure, you know what I mean, what happened. You know what I mean? So coming out, Jade, send me a question, what we're gonna do next, and Jade already knows that Beckham wants to have a women's team in America. You know, Beckham, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. And she'd already have little spy working there, you know what I mean?
Why am I not surprised? Why, when I say the Morgans are, I'm going to say again, just in case you guys might not have heard me, the Morgans are no doubt, arguably, football's most successful black family. Right now, I'd like for you to present to me a black football family that's doing better than the Morgans. And I'm talking about across all areas here. As you can tell, they've got their hands in multiple pies, and it's actually quite it's quite unusual. It's unique, but clearly they're not jack of all trades, master of none. If you do your own research, because maybe you don't want to believe myself or Mr. Morgan, do your own research and you be blown away that it's not a case of jack of all trades, master of none. They are just absolutely stunning, applaudable at each of their individual jobs. With Holly, you'll find that she, like I said, she's got her hands in multiple projects. I'm not sure how she does it, but she's fascinating. But just wonderful, wonderful football family. And I'm not surprised that you've got the likes of Beckham, the likes of David Beckham himself looking at the Morgans. That does not surprise me at all in the slightest.
But there you go. Just to cap that, the information is that they're looking over in the next 4, maybe 2 to 3 years to have a women's team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're on. So that is on the agenda. That is on the, and they'll be looking. They'll be looking to see what's going on. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
yeah. So but it is a Jamaican scene that I like personally, because I can see it grow. I'm looking at athletics. I'm looking at athletics, Jamaican athletics. No, I don't know better than I without going to my Facebook and looking at what's going on in the athletics world and so forth. And again, one of my best mates when I was in Jamaica was Stephen Francis. He's a
Yes.
And I'll do anything to meet up with him. I don't want to bring him and say, that and that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's people like him when I came here and look and see how he have improved and how he have gone from strength to strength and stuff like that. And he remained in Jamaica, you know what I mean? And so I wish I knew he would. And there's people out there, there's people out there like him, there's other people. And it's the money thing. It's the money thing that preventing progress. Is money? I know I'm asking the question, but I get a sense that it could be money talk, or money is very important, but money need to influence every aspect of the development.
Yes, absolutely.
Those catalysts that are required is not money. The catalysts are required to make together, to weave together. Is that money? The ideas. The think tank groups can come together and I'm sure Jamaica have those things. I'm sure that's what the board should be doing. The board should be meeting up. You know what I mean? And sit down and really plan. No, I'm here saying this, but they might be doing that, I'm not in the position to criticize what I don't know.
Yeah.
I like being constructive. I'm a positive person. I don't care how I see the goodness in people well advanced, but I'm also very perceptive to know things, So, but it just, we know money, you pay people to do work, but the ideas and to get it together, to get that strategy and that program and that business plan and that measurement and that to see where academic system could work, you know what I mean? To look at the demographic of the country and you get what I'm saying, see where it could work and how it could work and so forth. You have to have, I don't know, I haven't done enough research, I haven't had enough material to see what sort of research been going on, even from a university. Maybe you have people with this dissertation at the university about sport development in the country. I don't know. Perhaps some research has been looked at from an academic point of view and find, have anybody been doing any research on the growth of women football and how we could roll it out, or look at what are the pitfalls, what are some of the drawbacks, what are some of the anxieties, So I don't know.
I think if we're talking about Jamaican football, it has to be a bespoke research because we're such colorful and unique people that it would need to be tailor designed so we can unearth whatever is going on beneath the surface there
Yeah,
with Jamaican football.
yeah. Because I'm trying to read you. You know, you're there, but you have that critical eye. You're critiquing, but you want progress. Tell me if I'm wrong, but you have that critical eye in all of this.
I'll take that. I'll take that from the man himself. I'll definitely take that. I try to be critical. I try to be fair. Try to
Yeah,
balance.
proactively now. Proactively. I'm not being critical of you. I'm
No, no, no. I understand.
Yeah. But I see you. I see you want to move on. When you want to push things. You want to make sure things are happening. You want progress.
Absolutely. For the betterment of for Jamaica. So no
Mm,
hidden agendas. This is why I beat the drum when it comes to due diligence. So again,
yeah,
when I
yeah.
talked to you some weeks back and you said due diligence and I burst out laughing because I was like, this is literally what I've been begging for. Just simple stuff. Do your due diligence check when you're amongst
Mm,
young girls and women. And from there, I was like, no, I need to know more about Rohan and the rest of the Morgans because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree,
mm,
especially one that is so successful as your family.
mm. Yeah, I mean, I know it's it's always the same to me here because I don't get this about our family. We just get on. We get some people, and it's good. It's unusual for me to be sitting here lapping up your compliments and stuff, which is so refreshing because it gives you a sense of you're not there is some benefit. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. We're more than just. It's like we're getting some payback, which I never expect. I never expect this. I just think just getting on with it, getting on, living in England, and feel. As I said to you before, we do it because we want to feel like we're somebody. We want to feel that we have sense. We want to feel like we can, as a black family, we can plan, we can negotiate, we can we can get things done, we can be winners. You know what I mean? And we I want more black people to do that. I speak to a lot of black people who run little football teams, and when their daughter grow up, them stop. And
Mhm,
and
mhm,
and, and
mhm.
stop. I say no, 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 I'm with my children. I mean, if I wouldn't do my children, I wouldn't do it.
I have to give you your praise, because when I reached out to Holly, I was quite transparent with my request. People in the comments section will tell you that the platform it caters to Jamaican athletes, footballers, and so on. And I like telling stories around prominent black figures. It doesn't get
Mm,
more prominent as yourself. So I like to praise people from my community, the Jamaican or the Caribbean community, African community, especially when they are Jamaican and happens to be black. They needs to be celebrated. I don't like the
mm,
idea of giving people their flowers when they're no longer with us. Well, what's the point of that? Because they probably can't hear me.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I like
yeah.
to just let people know that they are appreciated again when they are from our community, that Jamaican community. Like to just let people, shine a light on
Mm,
them and let
mm,
them know
mm.
that these are the people that exist. Because the impression I get from the Morgans is that you're not ones to like beat your own drums. Fair play. That's to do with upbringing, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I we like to fight. We like to fight. We like to struggle. We like to struggle. We like to struggle because it's no different from a struggle where a lot of our foreparents struggle. You know what I mean? A lot of black people come here well before I came in their 40s, 50s and struggle. And those struggles are still here.
Mhm.
Those everything we just walk through the system. You can hear me. I still sound Jamaican, don't I?
Yeah, you know when I hear the accent, when you get passionate or something touch a nerve, that's when
Yeah,
I can hear the accent, and I laugh because it's always the case for like us that lives overseas. You hear the
yeah,
accent
yeah,
and there's
yeah.
passion there.
Yeah, but I suppose in Jamaica people don't get lots of compliments.
No,
Yeah,
there's too many crab in a barrel mentality for it. That's
they
the reason
don't,
why.
you know, used to it, used to it, so you don't get it.
Yeah,
And like here, so every time people do something, they want something for it. There's a
yeah.
card. There's a card for everything. Oh, card, look at you. You wake up this morning. There's a card for that. There's a card for that.
Hmm.
And I'm saying, and I just said, my God, we just waste time with the word self praise. My
Yeah,
grandma used to say self praise is no recommendation. Or somebody in Jamaica said that, but I know he's a Jamaican say. And
yeah,
I suppose because it's the what been happening is survival here for us as a family. It wasn't about praise or anything because it's to win the battle. We showed them. I don't want to swear in your program. What we showed was we're getting in the Super League.
yeah,
And when we said that 3 years old, people look at you and laugh and sneer. You'll never even bloody get out of this league. And there are people, but people sneer at us for the wrong reason. It's like he said, and they're trying to put us in this bubble like we don't belong. We don't belong because you only do it because, and it's always something. And we get grasped up so much time to the FA. If we sign a player and we miss something out or anything, we always been pulled in front of the FA, our local FA. Let's pay thousands of pounds in fees and fine illegally, where we shouldn't. We always Holly is our lawyer. She's a lawyer, and we have a roller to Wembley to defend us all the while. You know what I mean? To win 1 year, we went to the cup final, and there's a technicality, and they want to kick us out the final, and we have to fight it. And say, Holly, you coming to defend us, and everything. They pick up something where nobody would pick up, but when we play every game, yeah, people out there, my dear, would go through all this stuff and make sure we squeak it clean.
hmm
So we have to call Jade now, who would just make sure everything done. So we have to have a checklist, and we have to always in trouble. The moment people ring and lie about us, they, oh my God, trust me. And I was so preoccupied doing that. So I think it was easy. You know what I mean? It was very hard, Crystal, because everything we have let it come. You know what I mean? I can tell you around 20 incidents where, and because of that, it become a battle, it become a struggle. No different to our 4 periods, no different to some people, you know what I mean? We always have a battle, we've been picked on, you know what I mean, and so forth. And then when we go to the awards, we win them. So we become brutal. We become really brutal. We go but what was good about us? If you ask me one question, is that Jonathan and I will hit that motorway and we know a player and we'll go to their home, meet the parents, and turn on the discussion and the negotiation. And we walk 9.5 out of 10 times. We walk out of that house getting that player.
Fantastic.
And that's what made my day. Because I said, John, why didn't you sign for us? She live up north and families, you would have thought they wouldn't. And then on the way back, when we come, they will ring us on the phone and say, oh, thank you very much. There's so many people come here and chat so much shit. Pardon the expression. And you come in and you sit down and we believe you right away. We believe. And the first thing I always said to people, I remember when I went to sign Paige. Paige was a young 17-year-old. And at first I said to her mom, my mom is a nurse, work at night and stuff. And I'll take care of your daughter, I will take care of your daughter like it's my daughter. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. And make sure, because she's coming away from home, you know, get her house here. And one year, Jonathan had to move out of his house, come back home to give to players. Things like that we do. and so we had to do to win over and stuff like that. But that was the battle we're fighting, because we were getting players that other club couldn't believe we signed them. You know what I mean? Other clubs say, oh, no, you can't. She won't come to you. You get me? And for me, that was what I needed. That was the battle won, you know. And we have some players come and we're holding our own, and we always hold our own, and that was it. It was sheer fight. So I didn't have any time about praise, because my praise was winning, and my praise was giving the support that they want, what they want. Sometimes we have 1,000 people at our games, so we make some good money from the gate. So we make some good money from the gate.
Yeah.
Make some good money from the gate, and we have academy spending money, and we have that, and we have fundraising stuff. So we were paying our bills, paying the girls and money. And when we found out, we were paying more than most of the other clubs. The big top one that was beaten. So yeah, so I thank you for that, and I know we're talking here, and this to me is like a good discussion. But Holly, she just get on with it. Jade, you know, and other family, and I mentioned Shirley, my wife. She just every night we come home sometime. We have a battle in the house. You know? We didn't discuss who we fight each other too.
I always wondered that. I was like, this is a wonderful setup, but how does it work when? Because at the time, you know,
sometimes when Jonathan have brutal discussion and stuff, and then we have a family meeting and we set some parameters.
Yeah.
So when we leave it at the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And when we go home, we switch off and you know, but it was to find our feet. It was to find our way to find what worked for everybody.
Common grounds. Some common grounds.
Yes, it's to find what I must say to Jonathan, or I should leave him sometime.
Yeah.
I know that don't wind up, because and sometimes me and Holly see something that he don't see, that he don't like with me and Holly. Side with Holly and stuff, because me and Holly see something that he don't see, you know what I mean? And also I'm taking side with Holly. But it's all to build up, to rub off the rough edge of each of us and we did that. We did that. Maybe within a couple of years we did that. You know what I mean? And so we'll go home, we don't talk about football, you know what I mean? And yeah. But it still habits, because Holly was the captain. Holly played over 300 odd games for us. And she was a good captain. She was a mother of the team, and the pressure of the girls, the back to the welfare issue, the mental problem. Holly was on the phone. She would come from training and she was on the phone until 1, 2 in the morning.
Wow.
Talking to girls with problems, which I don't know about. But they keep it, you know. And girls just have so much problem. The boys about the same thing, but girls want to release things. Girls have them, and girls invariably have issues around all sort of things, but
that you can't necessarily discuss with a male coach, per se.
Yeah. So Holly did a marvelous job, and it pulling her and Jade was more professional. So she won't have any discussion with play. Jade have a different set of rules, you know.
Yeah.
And Jonathan used to talk to girls and stuff. So it was busy to survive until we did. And we did, you know. We did. I believe 10 years or plus. Me and Holly did it from day one. And Jonathan came on board. And Jay came on board. But we love the game. And I'm so impressed with Jade of all. Because Jade was more like netball, you know. Jade played netball. She played netball. And Jade was doing dancing and acting. She do all that. But when she get into football, just grab it, and shake it. And she's the one now that run the club, literally running the club and doing well. But she's quite happy to. I think she's getting ready to this international thing. There's something that I don't know. There's something that's gripping us at the moment. Like might want to move on to the other side of the world. Do something somewhere else. It's funny. So I don't know, but that's why the Jamaican thing, I suppose, subconsciously came in because we have done here. You know what I mean? And in some respect, we haven't seen in terms of the equality issue and stuff. It's still disappointing. It's still disappointing that there's not enough more black role model girls. You know what I mean? We have one Ashanti just left Villa. We don't have any.
I was going to ask you about Lashanti there. I was going to put in a little personal request as to, just maybe perhaps usher her over to the reggae girl side, if possible.
Which one? Who? Lashanti?
Paul, yeah.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Yes?
Oh, you were doing that.
I like Mr. Morgan. I'm a fan of yours. I like that.
Yeah. I thought her dad, he get their passport sorted out, everything.
I love that.
Good player, no?
Very good player. Very, very good player.
She is. She is a bit. We have a bit. She have an operation to do. She's in Jamaica now, and she's coming back to do operation when she come back to start training. When I saw her first, wow. And we just went in for her, give her house. She we just nearly 3 years. She was young player of the year last year. But she's exceptionally good player, and Jamaica need player like her. Good on the ball, she's quick, she would buzz, hit with both legs, and she could do. But she just need to get back into it. But yes, that's been done.
Yes,
I'm telling you. I tend to do it on the cover because I still don't know how the overseas player, it's a good strategy, but as long as it's not really damaging potential talent back in Jamaica,
Yeah. I think if anything, it's great for the talent pool because if you're brushing up against someone who is, dare I say, perhaps better than you, maybe marginally better than you, then instantly, if you're a player and you want to be the best, then you have to rub shoulders with the best. Automatically, that's going to want to make you, bring out the best in you. So I actually think that's a good combination to have.
Right. I just have 10% left on the battery.
See, I have to ask another question. This might be my last question.
No, that's fine.
Mr. Morgan, my last. Since we're talking about players, and it's no secret who Miss Paige Bailey Gale belongs to. I've put forward one request, even if it's just a consideration from your end. I personally would like to see Paige perhaps go in the hands of either Miss Hope Powell or Jonathan Morgan, like yourself. And I don't think I need to state the reason why I've chosen those two managers there.
Yeah.
We know that Paige is a free agent. Having
she gone somewhere already, but I can't. I'll talk to you.
Okay, I like that. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it just because
as long as she's in great hands, because I think she needs to be somewhere where she can get a lot of game time. Disappointed to see that she didn't get much game time.
Something happened. Yes. We Holly been holding Paige very close. She provide because Holly's her agent.
Yes.
And Holly, she last year could have been better, but she lost her grandma. Really hit her.
Oh, bless her. No.
Yeah, lost her grandma last year, And
Yeah,
he really
that's
and Page is very Page scored the greatest goal this club I've ever seen. Page Bailey Gale scored 2 goals also beat Reading. We were in championship, the FA Cup quarterfinal. Page Bailey Gale hit 2 goals. The first one just coming in off of the half line on the left side and cut in. And look, I think it cuts the goal. Oh God, eruption. The best goal this club ever seen. When we purchased Page from Arsenal, she made Arsenal first team. And last year she had a niggle because she's up quick. So we're trying to work her back up. You know what I mean? But she'll be all right. Well, I'll talk to you. I don't want to.
Please do. I know there's certain things that I can't, obviously we can't discuss on air, and I will definitely draw the line of there and respect the boundaries. But I had to get it off my chest to whisper in your ear where Paige Bailey Gale is concerned. But
No. That's what
I'll
give you. Yeah, we'll have a chat about that. You know, I don't want to break any rules. Maybe Holly slap.
No, I totally understand. I totally understand. What's your final comment there, Mr. Morgan?
Pardon?
What's your final closing comments there for us?
No, I'm delighted for this. You know what I mean? I'm delighted that you took time out to have a chat with me. It's a good chat. You know what I mean? I'm not. I do apologize if I didn't give you everything you want. You know,
you gave me more than I bargained for.
Yeah,
at one
point, if I go on a bit.
No. At one point, I didn't need. I stopped looking at my questions because you was answering them for me. So as an interviewer, that is excellent because you made my job so much easier. So thank you for that.
My final thought is, I read you loud and clear. I read your passion in terms of the football, the whole thing. I read the way you want to go. I think, like everybody, they're very proud of the Reggae Girls and you want them to do well. I really admire your company and us. We don't used to get these sort of praise, you know, but I admire that. And more importantly, I would want to get involved. You know what I mean? I like my children to get involved sometime. You know what I mean? So I look forward to our continued dialogue as we move forward.
Yes, me too. Me too.
I have 5% left, so I don't want to jump off without like this. But apart from that, you know, the kids are young still, and there's a lot of future for them. You know what I mean? And I'm sure sometime in the future, with a bit of luck and everything, you might just see them contributing somewhere. You know what I mean? And so forth. I myself will continue to have dialogue with people I know in Jamaica because I know and just feel something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I would like to take a trip out there, definitely. You know, but thank you very much. Yeah, thanks very much. I think the interview was great. Take me back to memory lane. It always emotionally. It always affect me. You know, going back to where from and the journey. You know what I mean? So, but there is something at the end of the tunnel, and I've been sensing it a long time. I've been sensing this reconnection. So I just hope we can make it a reality. Really do, in some shape or form. Yeah, and the good news is I don't have to be in England. You know what I mean? Myself is structured enough that I can travel a bit more. So that's something that will come in handy. You know.
Yeah, and before I forget my manners there, Mr. Morgan, thank you so much for blessing me with a moment of your time. You agreed to 1 hour, so I hope I haven't scared you off because we've been talking for almost 3 hours, so I do apologize.
Really?
But yeah, I've been looking at the clock. It says 2 hours and 43 minutes to be exact. So I hope I haven't scared you off there. I broke my own promise. I did ask for 1 hour and
No, that's fine.
more
That's
than
fine.
I bargained for.
We should do it again. I mean, we should do it again sometime in the future. Maybe we can do it on a different vibe, a different topic. Maybe the Jamaica reggae girls, but in a more strategic way, you know?
Yeah, I'll definitely be up for that. Yeah. And it's nice to see the guys in the comment section enjoyed what you had to say, and they're definitely in great appreciation. So it's nice to see that everyone is feeling happy on this wonderful Friday evening. You guys in the comment section, thank you so much for listening to myself and the lovely Mr. Rohan Morgan telling us all about the dynasty that is the Morgan family. Thank you guys for hitting the like button and for sticking with us for almost 3 hours. And the lovely Mikey Ballin as well. Glad that you could see your old friend there. I know you're definitely appreciative of that. We are about to love you and leave you there, guys, in the comment section. I will be back tomorrow looking at some reggae boys on that occasion, because we do have our game coming up against Suriname. Do have a lovely evening. If you're out and about, I hope that you make it home safe and well. If I don't see you tomorrow, do have a lovely weekend when it comes. And thank you for so much, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into myself and Mr. Rohan Morgan. If you're new to the channel, kindly go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also hit the like button. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Until next time, take care.
I'm John Barnes, and you're watching Talawa TV with Crystal Davis.